Dear Diary, today I take the next step in being an ADHD life coach at Indigo Hub. I can't believe it's happening. I want to build, create, and discover a place for us to truly be ourselves. I think this journey will be the Indigo Diaries. Dear Diary, welcome to the Indigo Diaries, and welcome to our exciting Series 3, The World Through Our Eyes, with me, your host, Natasha Hickling. The Indigo Diaries is a podcast for those who want to learn about ADHD through others' experiences. So I'm back after kind of on schedule 3 weeks, but feeling very excited, and because I've just asked some experts to come on to this series. So I'm really, really excited. And what I'm most excited about is the style of episodes that I'm doing. I'm trying to make it different, trying to get that help, that free help out there as best I can. And some of the experts that we've got coming on, I'm just so excited, and I'm so thankful that they're giving their time to us to, help us talk about ADHD and also just help us, manage things and find ways forward. So very excited about that. And so let's kick off this week, the final one with just me, well, for a while, open mind session. So an open mind session is to discuss topics of interest, have reflections and awareness questions for you to leave with. And my open mind session today is about who and ADHD, the who that's inside all of us. And this is a big topic I want to talk about, because when I find with ADHD, like ADHD is only a part of us, right? Like when we get diagnosed with ADHD, it's like, wow, your ADHD is like this, your ADHD is like this. But what about me and who I am? And sometimes I felt like when I was diagnosed with ADHD, it was almost like this whole other person, right? So like ADHD is this, and this. And I'm like, wait a minute, what about Tash? What about me? Hello. And it can be hard to keep that separate. What is this and what is the ADHD? And then also what I find is that sometimes when we, in society in general, right, we're so lost in what we need to do, we don't look at who we are. And I find a lot of people come to me with the what, right, this is what I want to do, 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 this is what I want to do. But what about the who that is in us, right? And the who that is a part of us. Yes, the ADHD is a part of kind of what we do and a little bit about who we are. But what about you and who you are? And I feel that a lot of that is lost in society in general. And then when we have ADHD, it's lost even more, because it can be hard to see who you are, or hard to kind of accept who you are when you've had the life you may have had, you've had the experiences, the shame, it's hard to give ourselves self-compassion and to see who we are when we've maybe wore so many masks, had those kind of traumas from our lives. It can be hard to see the who. It can be hard to wipe away what is ADHD, what is us, what are ADHD challenges, and what are just our challenges, what are our strengths, how does ADHD help our strengths? And that's why I really wanted to grasp this, the who, because it really can help with a shift. In order to be able to move forward with the what of what you want to do, the performance, you've got to be able to look at who you are, because if it's going against who you are, it's going against your strengths, going against things that's important for you, the what will never move forward. And so what I mean by the what and the who. So the who is basically you, the being of who you are, the internal, the character, the knowings, the memories, the permanent thing that is inside you. What's the what? It's more of the external things, the doing, the performance, the external, the reputation, the belief, the temporary things, what's here, what we're doing every day, the tasks. And when we look at the what, I call it like firefighters. We're putting out the fire, the external things. But what about the firefighter who puts them out? What does he have that everyone else doesn't? How does he put that out? How does he take his emotions out of it to put the fire out? And it's a bit like a waves versus a boat. When we're on a boat, we look at the waves crashing towards us and where we're going, rather than look at the sailors in the boat itself. But in order to move forward, for instance, to put out a fire or to get to anywhere, you've got to use the firefighter and you've got to use the boat. And it's a bit like that. And it can be hard when we have to turn around and look at who we are, when we might have not had the best experiences with that, which is what I find with ADHD. A lot of individuals like myself with ADHD, we didn't have the best way of starting, especially if we didn't know we had ADHD. And we felt like we were always putting fires out here, there, and everywhere, always had waves crashing at us, that we didn't have time or space to think about the who. And today we're going to kind of dive into some reflection and questions that can maybe give us that space to rediscover the who that's in all of us, because even with ADHD or anything, the who is so important. And I find that if we're doing things that don't have our internal and not playing to our strengths, it can be hard to have that change that's sustainable. So think about the waves. And I'm going to come back after this break because I've realized I've talked for too long and I'm going to take a break. And I've not switched off. You might have had a spray. I've not switched off something I need to go switch off. So we're coming back and we're going to have some reflection and questions for you to leave and think about the who that is inside you. And we're out. If you would like any more information on Indigo Hub or our Indigo support group, then please check out our website below or our link to our social media platforms, or email at indigohub.adhd@gmail.com. If you would like to offer any comments, feedback, get support, or if you're interested in the world hearing your story, then please reach out through any of our avenues. As said before, have a positive week. Check in again later. And we're out. The Indigo Diaries. And we're back. And before the break, before I had to go and turn off something because it came off in the middle, we were talking about the waves and the who. And the fact that we look at the what, we look at the fire, the waves in front of us, rather than looking in a mirror at ourselves, the firefighters, and at the boat itself. So think about the waves, the destinations, and the boat. The boat is who we are. The waves is the challenges that push through us. And the destination is where we want to get to. So what is the what? The what is the waves that come over us and where we're going. But what about the driving force that's on that boat? And it can be hard when those waves are crashing. And it's more external, which means it's more obvious. But what I want you to do is I invite you to look at the boat, look at you, rather than what you've got to do next, what you may have thought or believed, and what's in front. So I invite you to take some space. What makes you strong? What makes you strong to use a boat or use the things that you're good at to get through the hard times? What makes you strong? What is important to you about the boat, about who you are and where you're going? What's important to you about getting to that land that you see in front of you? Not what's important to other people's boats or other people. What's important to you and your boat and about getting to that land? What is important? How does your boat work? How does the boat move? What does it use? What does it need? Boats need things. You need things. What do you need and what does your boat need to work? What resources do you already have? What resources are on the bottom ship? What people do you have in your lives? What crew do you have? What resources do you have around your house? What support systems do you have in place? What are the resources you have on your boat that you already have? And it's the same with our lives. What we're talking about here, what are your strengths? What's important to you? How does your brain work? And what support systems do you have in place? And they are the 4 questions I want you to think about. Number 1, what makes you strong? What is important to you about you and where you're going in your life? How does your brain work? How do you work? What resources do you already have? And they're the 4 questions that I ask most of my clients. Because without that who, without the boat, there's no way you can get over those waves. And there are no way you can get to where you want to get to on land. But when we shift that perspective and we look at the boat and the who, rather than the waves and what we're doing, well, we become more prepared to deal with anything. We're more happier. We're using our strengths and we're ready for whatever comes in our way to deal with it our way. And the last but not least, the most important thing, we get to what we want. We get that what. But it starts with the who. And I hope that helps. You know, what my last question to you is, what do you want to identify with? Do you want to leave? Do you want to live your life knowing who you are or what it is you did? Yeah, they're both important. But if what you did is a representation of who you are, it's a lot stronger. And when you know your strengths, know the way your brain works, more prepared to deal with it, and you know what you have, ADHD or not, you're more likely to move forward. All starts with the who. And it's easier said than done. It's a lot harder. But what I'm inviting you to do here is to open your mind and think about a new perspective. Because perspective is strong. My encouragement for this week is change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. Barack Obama. We are the change, the person that's in us, the who. If you want change, stop looking around. Look in. It's scary. It's hard. We have to be vulnerable. But when we do it, we can look out and get what we want. So that's quite a big one for me, and a big thing that I didn't learn for a long time. And when I started coaching, I thought, it's the what, I want to do this, do this, this. And then I remember it was like, well, what about who you are? And it's like, I don't really know. And it can be hard. Seriously, we'll be back in 2 weeks where we've got a special guest coming to talk to us about burnouts. I'm really excited to have this guest. Very, very excited. A few weeks after that, we'll be starting the conversation about a quick fix. And I want to remind you, if you're interested in coming on as a guest, pick my brains, have questions, dilemmas, or you're an expert and want to share your experiences, or you want advice on things, please reach out. Or if you want to share your story on series 1, please reach out through our social media avenues that are all below all the time. I hope today that you explored, opened your mind, and looked inside. And I hope you come back next week, you come learn, listen, and experience the world through not my eyes, but our eyes. But in this case, your eyes and the who. Why not? Have an amazing week, truly. Be who you are and kick butt doing it. Get the what, but look at the who. And we're out. Dear Diary, as Indigo Hub's process goes on, it makes me stop and wonder, could there be more for us? More light, more experience, and more ways to see the world through our own eyes. I think this journey will be... Shh.